1990s gave us muscle cars that flew under the radar, but their power-packed engines still roar in memories. These 12 forgotten cars prove that muscle wasn't just a thing of the past. Number 12. Chevrolet Impala SS, 1996. Once a muscle legend, the Chevrolet Impala SS from the year 1996 is now a forgotten name in the world of performance sedans. Even though it had all the right ingredients, time and changing trends pushed it into the shadows. Unlike most famous muscle cars, this one quietly faded away. Starting with the launch, the 7th generation Impala SS appeared in the year 1994. It was built on the full-size Chevrolet Caprice, a car more known for police duty than street racing. This SS version was meant to be a sportier version, and it ran until 1996, only for 3 short years. Looking under the hood, the car had a powerful 350 cubic inch LT 1V8 engine. It was borrowed from the Chevrolet Corvette, which gave the car 260 horsepower and 330 pounds of torque. The engine was paired with a 4-speed automatic gearbox, which made it easy and smooth to drive. Now comes the interesting part. This SS shared many parts with the Caprice 9 C1 police car. That included stiffer suspension, stronger springs, better brakes, and even a limited slip differential. The Impala SS could handle corners better than most cars its size, though it gave up some comfort. Stepping inside the car, it had bucket seats, a center console, and a sporty look for a big sedan. Most Caprices came with bench seats, but the SS was made to look and feel different. Even the logos were changed. There were no Chevrolet badges on the outside, only the running Impala logo, which gave it a special and hidden identity. Let's not forget Callaway, the tuning company that made a wild version called the Supernatural SS. This version had over 400 horsepower and could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. It also had high-performance brakes from Brembo to match the power. A surprise under the hood, there was lots of empty space in the engine bay. This was because the original concept had a massive 500 cubic inch engine, but it was never used in the final car. Instead, cost-cutting allowed GM to use the same engine as other models. Coming to availability, General Motors built 69,768 Impala SS units between 1994 and 1996. That's not rare, but they are often ignored because they look too much like regular Caprices used in taxi fleets or government jobs. Sadly forgotten today, the 1996 Chevrolet Impala SS offered muscle car power in a 4-door package, but never got the same love as its 2-door cousins. Its quiet looks, shared parts, and short run made it disappear from most people's memory. Number 11. Pontiac Firebird Formula, 1994. Hidden behind a simple green color and factory wheels, the 1994 Pontiac Firebird Formula was a true muscle car that many people forgot about. It did not have flashy looks or loud sounds. In fact, it was so quiet that even car fans sometimes missed its power. This forgotten muscle car proves that looks can be deceiving. Right from the start, the Firebird Formula was built to do more than just one thing well. While most performance cars are good at only racing straight or turning sharp, this car was special. With a 350 cubic inch LT1 V8 engine, it made around 275 horsepower. That was more power than the older Firebirds had, and almost as much as a Corvette from that time. Moving on to performance, the car could race a quarter mile in 10.5 seconds at over 131 miles per hour. The person driving it, Randy Brown, used it in many races. On one weekend, he raced on a drag strip, then changed the wheels and raced on a road course. With factory twist wheels and real street tires, he chased down a full race-built Camaro. That showed how well the Formula could handle sharp turns and stay fast. Adding more surprise, the same car was clocked at 168.8 miles per hour on a straight road. And even with all this speed, the car still had working air conditioning and power steering. It even had over 128,000 miles and was driven 4,000 street miles every year. This made it a muscle car that did not sit in a garage, but was used like a normal car. Inside the car, not much looked different. There were factory leather seats, a regular CD player, and even T-top panels that came off for fun drives. Hidden switches for nitrous and cooling fans were placed where nobody could see them easily. That made the car a true sleeper. Quiet on the outside, but wild under the surface. Back to the engine. The car had a 6-point roll bar, stronger suspension, and a nitrous system. Yet it stayed at about 3,750 pounds, with the driver inside. As time went on, the Firebird name became less popular. Many buyers turned to newer cars. This left the formula behind, even though it was one of the best all-around performers of its time. Without wild looks or loud paint, it became one of the most forgotten muscle cars from the 1990s. Number 10. Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe, 1990. Back in the early 90s, the Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe stood out in quiet ways. Today, it is nearly forgotten, even though it carries strong power and smart design. Most people remember big names like the Mustang GT or Shelby GT 500, but few talk about this strong T-Bird. It had a supercharged 232 cubic inch V6 engine. That may not sound like much now, but in 1990, it gave over 210 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. Compared to some V8 engines, it held up very well. Looking deeper, it gets more interesting. The Super Coupe made most of its power low in the rev range. Peak horsepower came at 4,000 revolutions per minute, and peak torque showed up at 3,000 revolutions per minute. Because of this, the car pulled hard early and did not need high revs. It was more like a diesel in how it moved, a smooth and strong push. Moving to the road surprised by many drivers. For such a big coupe, it handled turns nicely and rode with comfort. The brakes were strong, and the suspension was made to deal with both soft roads and hard corners. Not many big cars from that time had this mix of power, handling, and comfort. The car weighed a lot, but it still performed well. As time passed, the forgotten T-Bird kept proving itself. A factory supercharger, the Eaton M90, gave the car 12 pounds per square inch of boost. That made it a strong base for upgrades. Many car fans found it easy to get more power by adding smaller pulleys or better air filters. Some even claimed to reach over 300 horsepower at the wheels with smart changes. Step by step, small upgrades made big changes. Replacing the old flat air filter with a new K and N one pushed torque up to 287 pound-feet. Adding a 5% overdrive pulley raised boost and torque again, this time past 300 pound-feet. From 2,100 to 3,200 revolutions per minute, the car held that strong twist. To keep pushing forward, fans also changed the mass airflow meter. A larger 2.8 inches part from C and L helped the car breathe better. Horsepower climbed to 216, and torque stayed strong. Then came the final touch, a Flowmaster exhaust system with a new resonator. Boost hit nearly 15 pounds per square inch. Horsepower rose to 230, and torque peaked at 332 pound-feet. Even with all this strength, the Thunderbird Super Coupe is often left out of muscle car talks. Its quiet looks, V6 engine, and large size kept it in the shadows. But for those who know, this car still flies strong. Number 9. Buick Roadmaster, Limited Collector's Edition, 1996. Big but quiet, the 1996 Buick Roadmaster Limited Collector's Edition is a car many people forget. Though it had strong power and style, it faded away when big wagons stopped being cool. Full of features and luxury, this car still turns heads, but many have never heard of it. Here's why it should not be forgotten. To begin with, under the long hood sits a 350 cubic inch LT1 V8 engine. This is the same type of motor found in the Corvette at the same time. It made the Roadmaster strong and smooth, giving it power that many did not expect from a station wagon. With an automatic transmission and overdrive, the drive was quiet and easy. Despite weighing more than 2 tons, the car moved with force and grace. Looking inside, one finds soft gray leather seats with power controls on both sides. The front seat is a split bench style, and the gear shifter is on the steering column. This gave extra space and comfort for long trips. Features like power windows, power mirrors, and electronic climate control made it feel like a high-end car. There was also a stereo system that played cassettes and CDs, which was a big deal back then. Moving along, the outside of the car shows off shiny black paint with a black vinyl top on the rear roof. Even though the body's very wide, the car looks neat and classic. The trim was simple, but the chrome wheel covers and the special Collector's Edition badge made it feel special. The fake wood trim on the sides reminded people of the classic wagons of the 70s, giving it a nostalgic look. Though it had style and strength, The Roadmaster became forgotten because times changed. In the early 1990s, people wanted minivans and sport utility vehicles. These newer vehicles had more space inside and were seen as cooler than old-fashioned wagons. That is one reason the Roadmaster did not sell well. Many people didn't want to be seen driving a big wood-trimmed car like their parents once did. As sales dropped, General Motors stopped making the big wagons in 1996. That year, all Roadmasters came with a collector's edition badge to mark the end of an era. Only a few were made compared to other cars of the time. Because of this, it slowly disappeared from memory. Even so, here is where it shines. The Roadmaster was fast for its size, smooth on the road, and packed with comfort. It looked like a calm cruiser, but it had real muscle underneath. In the world of forgotten muscle cars, this one stands proud even if most people don't remember its name. Number 8. Chevrolet Camaro RS, 1992. Sitting low and wide, the 1992 Chevrolet Camaro RS looked fast even when it stood still. With a long hood and sharp edges, it tried to carry the muscle car spirit, but time had started to forget it. Though once part of the powerful Camaro family, the RS was softer and quieter, built more for looks than for loud performance. To start off, this version of the Camaro came near the end of the third generation, which lasted from 1982 to 1992. The RS name stood for Rally Sport, but by the early 90s, it was more about trim and less about speed. Most RS Camaros came with a 189 cubic inch V6 engine. It made around 140 horsepower. That was enough for a fun drive, but it didn't bring the roar of a V8 muscle car from the past. Moving ahead, the Camaro RS had style. Its low roof, pop-up headlights, and wide stance made it look like it belonged on a racetrack. In bright colors like medium quasar blue metallic, it turned heads. The inside had a deep dashboard and a cockpit feel. You sat low and everything around you felt sporty. However, as time went on, things started to change. Right around this time, muscle cars were not as strong as before. Rules for gas mileage and safety made them softer. The RS, with its V6 engine and quiet drive, was not like the fire-breathing Camaros of the 60s or 70s, and while it had style, the power under the hood was just average. Next up, many young drivers still liked the Camaro RS. It was cheaper than the big V8 models and still looked cool. College students and young adults liked having a car that felt sporty without costing too much. But because it was not the fastest or strongest, people began to forget it. Other cars with better engines or newer designs pushed it to the side. What really hurt its memory was that it lived in the shadow of the stronger Z28 models. Those had big engines and louder sounds. When people talk about old Camaros, they often think of those versions. The RS didn't get the same love. That is how it slowly became a forgotten muscle car. Looking back now, the 1992 Camaro RS still had heart. It may not have won races, but it gave young people a way to feel part of the muscle car world. With smooth lines, sharp looks, and just enough power, it played its part in the Camaro story, even if most people don't remember its name today. Number 7. Oldsmobile Cutless, Supreme Convertible, 1995. Bright red paint and a soft black top gave the 1995 Oldsmobile Cutless Supreme Convertible a stylish and bold look. Yet even with its shining design and comfortable features, it slowly faded into the background. Once built to stand out, this convertible became one of the forgotten muscle cars from the mid-90s. To begin with, this car offered an optional 207 cubic inch double overhead camshaft V6 engine. It produced 210 horsepower and 215 pound-feet of torque. That gave it decent speed, but the engine became known for its tricky maintenance and fragility. Many drivers preferred the simpler 189 cubic inch V6 that was standard, even though it had 50 fewer horsepower. Over time, that choice made the more powerful version rare and easily overlooked. Looking closer, the Cutless Supreme Convertible came with a 4-speed automatic transaxle that sent power to the front wheels. Unlike older rear-wheel drive muscle cars, this front drive layout made the car easier to handle but less exciting for driving fans. Still, it rolled on 16-inch 5-spoke aluminum wheels and had 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes to help keep the ride smooth and safe. Next, comfort played a big role. The seats were covered in soft graphite pearl leather. The driver's seat had power controls, and the cabin included dual-zone automatic climate control, power windows and locks, cruise control, and a stereo that could play both CDs and cassettes. These features made it great for long drives, but they could not compete with the raw thrill of older muscle machines. As a result, muscle car fans slowly ignored it. Moving on, the dashboard had a speedometer marked to 118 miles per hour and a tachometer that reached 8,000 revolutions per minute. The design, though full of useful gauges, looked cluttered and not very sporty. Even with a leather-wrapped steering wheel and bright red body, the Cutless Supreme Convertible never fully grabbed the spotlight. What made this car feel even more unusual was the loop-style interior door handle. It was added because the original coupe design had the handles placed in the B pillar. Instead of spending more money to redesign that part, the loop handle was used, keeping things simple but giving the inside an odd look. As time passed, the mix of luxury and light performance placed the Cutless Supreme Convertible in a strange spot. It was not strong enough to be remembered with the legends, and not common enough to be seen every day. Now, with very few still on the road and fewer people talking about them, it has quietly become one of the muscle cars that many have simply forgotten. Number 6. Mercury Cougar XR7, 1990. In the early 1990s, the Mercury Cougar XR7 stood tall among performance cars, but today it sits quietly in the shadows. Once full of promise, this sleek coupe is now a forgotten muscle car that rarely appears in conversations about American power. Right from the start, the Cougar XR7 showed serious strength. It came with a supercharged 232 cubic inch V6 engine that made 210 horsepower. Paired with either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic transmission, the car delivered smooth, strong performance. A high-efficiency intercooler kept things cool, and the supercharger spun at over 2.5 times the speed of the engine crankshaft. Even with its weight, the engine had no trouble moving the Cougar quickly. Moving forward, the car's ride was just as advanced. It had a fully independent suspension at all 4 wheels, something rare at the time. The automatic adjustable suspension could be set to firm for tight cornering or to auto for a smoother ride. The computer made quick changes whenever needed, like during sharp turns or rough roads, without the driver even noticing. A smart system like this was ahead of its time. Looking inside, the Cougar XR7 impressed with luxury. Features like a rare factory sound system, ride control, and supportive bucket seats were not found in most cars of its class. This made it perfect for both long trips and short city drives. However, these same features made the car more expensive than others, which caused fewer buyers to choose it back then. Another reason it has been forgotten is that people saw the Thunderbird Super Coupe as the more exciting twin. Both cars shared the same platform and powertrain, but the Cougar had more refined styling for formal buyers. Without bold ground effects or flashy designs, it felt more grown up, which meant younger drivers often looked the other way. To make things more unique, the XR7 used a speed-sensitive power steering system. At low speeds, it made parking easy. At high speeds, it stiffened up for better control. This made the car easy to drive and gave it confidence on twisty roads. Sadly, with only a few on the road today, the Cougar XR7 is hard to spot. Most people forget its strong power, smart suspension, and luxury feel. It was built with care, tuned for balance, and filled with features, but it quietly disappeared behind louder cars with more fame. When it comes to quiet excellence and underrated strength, the Mercury Cougar XR7 from 1990 is a clear example of a muscle car that the world simply forgot. Number 5. Pontiac Grand Prix GTP 1997. In the world of fast sedans, the 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP once stood with pride, but over time it became a forgotten muscle car, hidden behind louder names and flashier badges. Right away, the GTP had power. It used a 232 cubic inch Series 2 V6 engine with a supercharger made by Eaton. This strong engine made 240 horsepower, giving the car quick acceleration. When tested, it could reach 60 miles per hour in just 6.8 seconds, which was faster than many rivals, including the Ford Taurus SHO. Now, let's look deeper. The GTP came with a 4-speed automatic transmission named 4T65E. which was better and stronger than the one used in earlier models. Even though it was front-wheel drive, the car had good handling and a balanced ride. The suspension system used McPherson struts in the front and a coilover strut tri-link in the rear. These parts helped the car feel smooth on rough roads and sharp in corners. Shifting the focus to design, the GTP had a sporty body that followed ideas from the earlier GPX concept car. Its sleek shape and twin-kidney grille gave it a bold look, but it was still not loud or wild. Small side badges and regular-sized wheels made it hard to spot from a distance. This lack of flashy signs is one big reason why it faded from memory. Stepping inside, the GTP offered leather bucket seats, a helpful head-up display, and radio controls on the steering wheel. It also had orange dashboard lights that some drivers found odd. One strange thing was the hood support. The car used a simple prop rod instead of gas struts, which felt out of place for such a modern-looking sedan. As time passed, one major issue came up. The GTP did not come with traction control, even though the slower SE and GT versions did. This was because the extra power from the supercharged engine was too much for the older traction system to handle. Pontiac planned to fix this in later models, but it hurt the GTP's image at the time. Looking at the price, the GTP was a smart deal. Even with extras like leather and a CD player in the trunk, it stayed under $25,000. That made it cheaper than many of its rivals, while still being packed with power and comfort. In the end, because of quiet styling and a few odd choices, the 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP was missed by many. But for those who remember, it was a quick and stylish sedan that deserved more attention. Number 4. Dodge Daytona IRock RT, 1992. The 1992 Dodge Daytona IRock RT is a car that many have forgotten, even though it was an impressive machine in its time. The IRock RT model was part of the final year of the Daytona's production, but somehow it slipped under the radar. It was one of only 250 produced that year, and it came with a turbocharged 134 cubic inch 16-valve inline-4 engine. This engine produced 224 horsepower and 217 pound-feet of torque, making it powerful for its size. The power was sent to the front wheels through a 5-speed manual transmission, which made the driving experience even more engaging. What made this car stand out was its styling. The IRock RT was finished in a bright white paint job, and it had a distinct aero body kit. The front of the car featured integrated headlights, and the bodywork was designed to look sleek and modern. The updated design for the 1992 model year included redesigned rear styling and a new bumper cover. Although the front bumper cover showed signs of previous paintwork, it didn't take away from the car's overall sporty look. The IRock RT model also had special wheels, called Ninja wheels, which were aluminum and measured 16 inches in diameter. They were finished in white with gray accents, giving the car a unique and bold appearance. Inside, the Daytona IRock RT had a simple but effective interior. The seats were made of gray cloth, and it came with features like air conditioning, a cassette stereo, and manual windows. The dashboard included a leather-wrapped steering wheel and instruments like a speedometer, tachometer, and boost gauge to show the engine's performance. Despite its performance features, the car also had practical features like a rear window defroster and a rear cargo cover. These details made it a comfortable ride, but also something that could handle speed and style. However, even with all its performance and looks, the Daytona IRock RT has become a forgotten muscle car. The turbocharged engine was a product of careful engineering, with a cylinder head developed by Lotus. Unfortunately, the high-performance engine needed regular maintenance, like oil changes, to keep it running well. Over time, many of these cars were passed down to younger owners who didn't take care of them, and this led to issues like fried turbos and melted head gaskets. This lack of care caused many of these cars to be scrapped, leading to their rarity today. While the Dodge Daytona IRock RT had a strong engine and an eye-catching design, it wasn't widely recognized as a classic in its time. Today, finding one is difficult, and its value is uncertain. But for those who remember, it was a standout car that deserves more recognition. Number 3. Ford Mustang SVT Cobra, 1993. The 1993 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra is a car that many seem to have forgotten. While the Mustang has always been a symbol of American muscle, this particular version was different in ways that not everyone remembers. The Cobra came with a special 305 cubic inch V8 engine that was an upgrade from the regular Mustang GT. This engine produced 235 horsepower, thanks to changes in the intake system, cylinder heads, and camshaft. It was not just about the power, though. The engine was built to handle higher RPM ranges, giving the car a more exciting feel at higher speeds. This engine was mated to a Borg-Warner T5 5-speed manual transmission. The transmission was specially built for the Cobra, with stronger parts that could handle the car's power. Unlike other Mustangs of the time, the Cobra didn't offer an automatic transmission. This made the Cobra a true performance car for driving enthusiasts. The rear axle of the Cobra was the standard Ford 8.8-inch unit with 3.08 gears, which provided solid power to the rear wheels. The car's interior was another reason it stood out. While it looked similar to the Mustang GT, there were subtle changes. The most notable was the embroidered Cobra floor mats. The interior offered seats in either opal gray leather or cloth, making it a bit more upscale than the standard Mustang. However, the interior was still fairly simple, reflecting the Cobra's focus on performance rather than luxury. However, many of these cars saw heavy use, so wear and tear are common, especially on the seats, pedals, and steering wheel. The Cobra's chassis was designed for better handling. It had special shocks, springs, and struts that made it more comfortable on the road while still being sporty enough for high-performance driving. The car's wheels were a special 15-inch design, wider than the regular Mustang wheels. This wider track helped the Cobra stay planted on the road, even during sharp turns. The Cobra was also the first Mustang to offer four-wheel disc brakes, a huge improvement over previous models. Despite all these improvements, the Cobra didn't have flashy, over-the-top styling. The exterior was fairly conservative, with only a few key differences from the standard Mustang GT. The most noticeable changes were the Cobra badges and a special grille. The car was available in 3 colors: vibrant red, teal metallic, and black. These subtle changes made the Cobra a sleeper car. Its performance was impressive, but it didn't show off too much. However, the Cobra is often forgotten today. Many of these cars have been modified over the years, with aftermarket parts replacing the original equipment. The original Cobra wheels, special engine parts, and interior items like the floor mats are often missing. As a result, finding a fully original 1993 Cobra has become a challenge. This car's true potential is hidden in the past, making it a forgotten gem for many. Number 2, Chevrolet Monte Carlo Z34, 1995. The Chevrolet Monte Carlo Z34 from 1995 is a forgotten gem in the world of American cars. Despite its sleek design and solid performance, it remains a bit of an unknown to many car enthusiasts. Unlike other iconic models from the same era, the Z34 was overshadowed by its competitors, yet it offered a driving experience that many missed out on. The car is powered by a 207 cubic inch double overhead cam and a V6 engine. This engine produced around 210 horsepower, which was quite impressive for a mid-size coupe of its time. The Z34 could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 7.8 seconds. While this wasn't lightning fast by modern standards, it was more than enough to offer a thrilling drive. For comparison, it outperformed the 281 cubic inch V8 engine in the Ford Thunderbird, which was one of its main rivals. However, its torque was a bit less, leaving some of the high-performance driving experience feeling just slightly incomplete. Inside, the Monte Carlo Z34 featured a mix of luxury and practicality. It came standard with air conditioning, power windows, locks, and mirrors. For added comfort, it had a 6-way power-adjustable driver's seat. The interior was designed for convenience, with controls placed in easy-to-reach spots, though some features, like the stereo's volume knob, required a bit too much turning to adjust. The seats, though comfortable for some, didn't suit everyone. While the back seats were spacious enough, getting into them was a bit of a challenge due to the large doors, which required extra clearance in tight parking spaces. Despite its solid performance, the Z34 had a few drawbacks. Some drivers experienced issues with the engine idling roughly until it warmed up, and the car had a tendency to understeer in sharp turns. On the plus side, its handling was still above average, making it a comfortable ride on the road. The Monte Carlo Z34 also had its fair share of maintenance costs, though they weren't high. Owners could expect to pay around $121 for regular servicing. Unfortunately, there were reports of brake issues and paint quality problems, which didn't help its reputation. Yet, despite the setbacks and issues, the Z34 was still an affordable choice for those who wanted a blend of performance and luxury. Its price, just over $20,000, made it a reasonable option for anyone looking for a car that offered both speed and comfort. However, as time went on, the Monte Carlo Z34 faded into the background, and its solid performance and elegant design were largely forgotten. Number 1. Pontiac Bonavville SS EI, 1998. The Pontiac Bonavville SSEI from 1998 is a car that has mostly been forgotten over the years, even though it had a lot of potential when it first came out. The Bonavville might not get the recognition it deserves, but it was a comfortable and surprisingly powerful vehicle for its time. Under the hood, it packed a supercharged 232 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine that delivered around 240 horsepower. That was quite a bit for a car in the late 1990s, especially when most of the competition wasn't offering much more power. The ride in the Bonavville SSEI was smooth, though it had its drawbacks. Around the city, it handled fairly well, but the front-wheel drive setup made it feel a little less connected to the road than other cars. This wasn't a sports sedan by any means, but it still had the power to pull away from stoplights with ease. However, when cruising on the highway, the car's ride quality became less impressive. The Bonavville felt a bit wallowy, and vibrations were noticeable at higher speeds. Although it wasn't terrible, the car didn't offer the same solid, road-hugging feeling you might get from European sedans like Saabs or Volkswagens. Inside, the Bonavville had a few hits and misses. The seats were perhaps its greatest feature. They were comfortable, made of leather, and provided excellent support for long drives. The dashboard, on the other hand, was a letdown. The quality of the materials felt cheap, and the assembly wasn't impressive. There were too many buttons for the power seats, and the controls were awkwardly placed in the center console. Even the steering wheel felt too small and flimsy. Despite these issues, the Bonavville did have some interesting features, like the head-up display that showed the driver the speed on the windshield, which was a cool touch. Another aspect that set the Bonavville apart was the car's technology. While some of it might not have aged well, things like the auto-dimming mirrors and large sunroof were definitely ahead of their time. Despite being a bit old-fashioned now, the car had gadgets that made it stand out in its day. The Pontiac Bonavville SSEI may not be on many people's radar today, but it had the right mix of power and comfort when it was first released. It may have been overshadowed by newer, more refined vehicles, but it's easy to see why it had its share of fans back then. That wraps up our look at the forgotten muscle cars of the 90s. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more car content.